Hi, this is Asha. I'm very happy to present to you this action research plan. Um, as a computer professional and a passionate educator, I have been working closely with the local school district to recruit more girls into middle school computer classes. Following is the action research plan to design strategies to increase girls' enrollment in the coding and STEM classes. By doing the action research, I can collect the needed data to address the issue in a formal and presentable manner. The benefits of this research is not confined to my classroom alone. I would like to share the findings with all the stakeholders to initiate a district-wide educational improvement. I volunteer to teach once a week after school coding class for the middle schoolers in my school district. The class is conducted for any middle schooler who wants to learn coding and they don't require to be computer science students for their elective, but they are required to attend an aptitude test before the training starts. It's an hour of training from 2:30 to 3:30 on Wednesdays. Students are trained in basic HTML, CSS, Python, C Sharp, SQL, and web designing. Students are provided with additional help to understand and do their homework, computer homework, and projects. There are 65 students, and only 20% of them are girls, which is an increase of 2% from last year. Teachers at my school district believe that a lot of mentoring is needed to persuade their female students to pick up STEM. And there is more to be done to beat the hidden misconceptions regarding women in computing. There's a big gender gap. Doing action research on this topic can help us find answers to some of the fundamental questions we have regarding this issue and address them effectively to improve the current situations. Of course, many researches have been already done in STEM field about the gender gap issue, and a few of them are specifically related to IT. They all have provided a good insight into this issue. At the same time, doing an action research on this issue in my community, I believe I can get valuable insight into the basic issues that I need to address. The purpose of my research is to understand the underlying cause of this gender gap in computing in my school district and find ways to attract more girls into technology. My research focus is on the following problem. In spite of providing free and on campus training in coding, now it's virtual due to the pandemic, only 20% female students are enrolled in it. Male students show much interest in this training as they show 100% attendance. Girls are not showing interest to try coding, and this signals an unhealthy scenario where very less female students choose STEM in the district. We need more girls to choose technology. According to a research report published by Accenture in 2016, the gender gap is getting worse and shrinking of women workforce will have severe implications for the US economy. Even though software industry is highly flourishing in this country, according to a report by National Center for Women and Information Technology, only 26% of professional computing occupations are held by women. As a software professional for the past 15 years in the industry, I witnessed the gender gap firsthand. But more than the gender gap in the industry, I'm perplexed at the disinterest the girl students show to technology. Through conducting action research on the gender gap in computing, I hope to answer the following questions. Why are there less girls enrolled in the coding class at my school? What influenced girls' decision to learn to code? What can we do to attract girls to technology and increase the enrollment in the coding class? How to seek the community's buy-in to better address this issue? Gender gap in computing is a bigger and wider issue. Narrowing it down to finding the reasons behind female students' lack of interest in coding in the school district, it's dependent on the local variables and underlying issues the district needs to identify and address. However, a literature review of peer review research could provide more insight into the questions I have posed. My plan is to read broadly and generally at the beginning and then more narrowly. The information I collect can be discussed with middle school teachers, school leaders, and the community to create and implement an action plan. Vitoris and Gilvers observes in their critical examination of the way researches have been conducted on gender gap in computer science, the alarming decline of the proportion of women entering computing. The study is not about finding answers for the slum mentioned, but it is an attempt to reiterate the importance of looking at the topic with a different set of eyes. They review many studies on this topic from around the world and discuss the recurring theme of gender factor in all those topics. The question, why are there so few women in computing, remain an empirical and monotonous rhetoric. I also reviewed Adya and Kaiser. They developed a testable model to understand the social, structural, and individual factors that influence girls' career choices in technology fields. The social factors include family, peers, and media. The structural factors that are studied are computer accessibility at home and school, influence of teacher or mentor, same-sex versus co-educational schools. They also examine these factors in the context of culture to understand the cultural impact on career choices. While they are assimilating and synthesizing various research findings on the three factors, they are of the strongest opinion that parents, particularly fathers, are the key influences of girls' choice of IT careers, and teachers and counselors provide little or no career direction. Their model suggests that early access to computers and can increase an affinity towards technology and reduce career bias against IT. I found this suggestion particularly interesting to me at this time of the pandemic, as COVID 19 has made the access to computers a universal thing. In that case, more girls should show interest in learning computer. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any such comparison of data before COVID 19 and now. Nevertheless, it is still possible to conduct a survey and see how many girls are interested to enroll in the after school free coding class I offer for my school district and compare it with the pre pandemic data. Another literature review was Serapiglia and Lennox explain why women decide to learn computer science. Their study in detail explains the many studies available out there concerning the reason for gender gap, female underrepresentation in key IT positions, and disappearing women in IT. I found this study particularly interesting as it offers insight into the personal account and experience of 25 female computer science students in relation to their decision to study computer. This information is highly helpful to identify potential indicators affecting girls' enrollment to technology subjects, specifically computer science. Reading through many peer-reviewed articles on the issue of gender gap in IT, I have gained some perspective in adding the research questions that I posed in this action research plan. I understand that this is a widely discussed topic, and teachers have come up with recommendations like having early exposure to computers and creating awareness about the industry and its potential to provide high earning careers. However, to answer my specific question on ways to attract more girls into the after school free coding class in my school district, I need to collect data that I can correlate to these peer reviewed findings and further continue my exploration of this issue. I would like to learn from my female IT colleagues what factors influence them to choose this profession. I would like to know from my current female students the factors that influence them to join the coding class. And finally, I would like to hear from the middle school female students in the school district if they reconsider joining the coding class after seeing IT industry as less affected by the pandemic and the work from anywhere option available for tech people everywhere. For my research, I have collected qualitative data. I have used focus group, surveys, and interviews to collect data to assimilate and further design my action research plan. The focus group was created online to collect the factors that determined or influenced my colleagues' decision to choose IT. I conducted Zoom one-to-one interview with my current female students in the coding class to understand the factors that influence their interest in coding. These interviews consisted of open-ended questions to know their initial influence to enroll in coding class. The final data collection method was surveys, which I sent out to 70 middle school girls in the district who are enrolled in other courses. The survey consisted of questions regarding their knowledge about opportunities in the IT industry and if the pandemic has changed their perspective on the industry. Data collection. Online focus group consists of my female colleagues, Zoom one-to-one interviews with my current female students, and online surveys for middle school girls enrolled in other electives other than computer science are the most appropriate methods that I can use for my purpose during this time. The online tools make the collection of data easier and safer during this time. Online focus group. I created a WhatsApp focus group of 10 female software programmers who are currently working with me. Their age ranged from 26 to 45. I created and monitored the discussion on gender gap in IT. I asked them to choose the factor that they thought would have influenced their decision to enter into IT field. The options included family members or role models, early access to computers, affinity towards problem solving, lucrative job opportunity, or other. Their answers helped me to correlate to the peer-reviewed findings in my readings. 50%, like 5 of them responded that it's the lucrative job opportunity as the factor that influenced them. 2 of them said it is the role model that influenced them. Another 2% chose affinity towards problem solving as their influence. And 1% said early access to computers as the influencing factor. And I would say that 1% will go with the affinity towards problem solving as their influence too, because when you have all the exposure to computers and technology at the early age, you kind of develop an affinity towards fixing stuff, problem solving, all those kind of good stuff coming with that. The next method I used was online interviews. I conducted Zoom one-on-one interviews with my current female students in the after-school coding class. There are 13 female students from the middle school who attend the coding class. 8 of them participated in the interview and the rest of them were unavailable due to Thanksgiving break. 3 participants are in 8th grade and 5 are in 7th grade. The questions were open-ended, focused on the social, structural, and individual factors that influenced them to join the after-school coding class. The questions were, where did you find information about the after-school coding class? Has anyone in your family or outside family influenced you in your decision to join the coding class? If yes, who? Why do you want to learn coding? What are your expectations from this class? What advice would you offer to your fellow female students about joining the coding class? Do you have any ideas to how to have more girls from your class join the coding class? This data gives me specific factors that influence the students to join coding class, their experience in the class, and ideas to reach out to more girl students in the district. It was very interesting to analyze the interview responses. It particularly made me very happy to know that the current students enjoy these coding classes. This also provided me a good insight into the factors that influence them to join the after-school coding class and their positive feedback on how well the course meets their expectations. This data is definitely important for me to reach out to more students and expanding the stakeholder support. I found these interviews very valuable as they reveal the well-rounded information on what it takes to increase the girls' enrollment in coding class in my school district. It's great to observe that past student experience is a key factor that we can leverage while planning strategies to attract more girl students to the coding class. It's important to note that their parents played an important role in influencing them to join the class. This emphasizes the need to communicate with parents more on the IT opportunities. Responses show that uh, the after school coding is beneficial to students. The current students enjoy the classes and the group projects. Another important aspect of the program that they shared was how it helps them to do their school computer projects. They also suggested that if the girls in the district had a chance to see and experience the coding classes before joining the actual class, they will get interested to enroll in the class. They also pointed out that there is a misconception prevailing among the girls that computer is a hard subject like math and it is only good for boys. It's imperative to address this misconception with right and appropriate information. The third method I used to collect data was online surveys. 70 middle school female students who were not enrolled in the coding class or their elective was not computer were sent a brief online SurveyMonkey survey to complete with prior permission from the school district and parents. 18 students completed the survey so far. The survey consisted of both open-ended and closed-ended questions which provided both qualitative and quantitative data. The survey questions were, do you believe that anyone with an aptitude to learn can code? Why or why not? Do you think computer programming is a good profession for girls? Why or why not? While coding is about creating an effective solution for a problem, do you think learning to code will help you think smarter? Do you know there are many high paying career opportunities in coding? Do you know there are many opportunities to work remotely in coding? According to a Business Insider 2020 report, front end developer is one of the most common remote jobs in the country during the pandemic. Do you like working remotely or why not? Would you like more information about coding careers through online flyers or presentation? Please specify. Would you like to join the free after school computer coding class near school? The survey helped me to better understand the perception of girl students in the district towards coding, the depth of information they have about programming career and opportunities, and the effect of the pandemic and remote working opportunities as they perceive the best way to reach out to the students with the information about the coding class, and finally, their interest to learn coding. The results of the surveys uh, are very, very valuable for my research purpose and continue my action research plan. When I analyzed the survey data, I found that the responses are very helpful to understand how much information regarding the IT career and opportunities is effectively communicated to the students. And they also, the response also provided me with information of the best methods to reach out to the students to share IT career opportunities and about the coding class. Now that the pandemic has set a stage for people to think about remote working job as an option, I understand that I have got significantly positive feedback about the students' interest in IT related courses. Almost all of the participants indicated that they are favoring remote jobs. I'm glad that 13 of the students showed interest to join the coding class in the survey. The misconception about coding as a boys thing is still need to be addressed. Another significant revelation was that 6 of them didn't believe that anyone can learn to code. My future action plan. As I'm looking at the quantitative and qualitative data that I have collected through online focus group, online surveys, and online one-on-one interviews, I understand that the responses from the participants go in resonance with what I have already read from peer-reviewed researchers. However, this has given me an opportunity to think over it and explore my options based on the data I have collected. I can discuss the data and the findings with the school authorities, students, parents, and community to further develop a solution to the current problem that we are facing. The responses from the students clearly show that there are some misconceptions prevailing among us students, and we can do so much more to pass the right information to them. There are definitely some social and structural factors influencing the girl students in their decision to choose computer or coding class, and this information would be helpful for teachers as well as parents. The interviews also provided a positive feedback about the coding class from the current students, and this data will be helpful to share with other students and community. A thorough analysis of the data will further provide three strategies that need to include in our action plan to increase enrollment of female students in the after school coding class. The action plan may include reaching out to students and parents to share right information about the IT career opportunities and the free coding class, addressing the gender biased misconception regarding coding through effective methods, and seeking monetary support from community business partners to share the information through different channels like online flyers, videos, and presentation. The data I have collected provides me with the needed information to answer my research questions. Conducting the research has been very helpful in understanding what need to be done to increase girls' enrollment in STEM classes and specifically in the coding class. I have included a forced field analysis to discuss the goals and objectives of my action plan. By analyzing the driving forces versus the restraining forces, I'm able to understand the factors impacting the implementation of the action plan. This helps me to think about the strategies that I need to implement to make the plan successful. The goal of the action plan is to gain a deeper knowledge about the social, structural, and individual factors that influence girls' decision to learn coding and create strategies to increase enrollment of girl students in STEM and coding classes. The objectives are to communicate with parents and students the right information on IT career opportunities, to work collaboratively with the community and successful women in IT to talk about the field the talk about the field to students and parents, to work with school authority to set up trial coding classes during school hours for girls to see and experience first-hand coding. Communicating with students and parents through online brochures, videos, and presentation covering successful women in the industry, inspirational talks of these career women in IT, and setting up online trial class during the regular school hour have been the main objectives of this force field analysis. By communicating the right information to the students and parents, the gender biased misconceptions about coding and the resistance to try coding can be addressed to a greater extent. With the help of community partnership, I can create a series of tech talk by women in IT, and this initiation will definitely help parents and students get encouraged to explore coding. The online trial class for girls to try out during regular school hours will help them experience the fun of coding. The data I have collected during my research is well presentable to the community partners to make them engage in my efforts to increase girls' enrollment in the coding class. Once the parents and students have the right information on the IT career opportunities, they will be able to participate in the program with confidence. They will also help me to gather information on choosing the right coding classes according to students' interest. I can customize classes for individual preferences. Potential evaluation data sources for future action plan. By including parents and community partners in data collections, the program may be expanded to other districts too. The data I have collected is mainly focused on the reasons for less girls enrolled in the after school coding class. However, this data can be used as a base point to conduct a wider student, teacher, and community feedback initiative to address the issue of less girls selecting STEM classes for high school and college. I find a greater potential for such a bigger scale of study in my community, and this will help the district to address this continuing issue. I'm very happy to see the evolution of my research and its finding. It has been both an overwhelming task with such a short period of time, but with a rewarding experience. I would recommend an action research to my fellow teachers to address their everyday issues and improve their effectiveness. I got the opportunity to read many of the researchers out there on the similar issue. Their research and findings helped me to shape up my research with a clear insight. All data has been collected, guaranteeing anonymity, and I have made sure that I maintain and protect the data ethically and in an appropriate format. I will present this data to parents, students, teachers, school board, and the community in appropriate forms to gain feedback and suggestions in addressing the issue effectively. Through this action research, I was able to gain a deeper insight into the social, structural, and individual factors that influence girls' decision to learn to code and how to address these misconceptions among the students regarding coding. I gained valuable feedback on the coding class from the current students, which is an added benefit of this action research. It was amazing to learn from our current students that our coding class meet their expectations and would recommend to their fellow students. Communicating the right information to students and parents through different channels with the help of teachers and school authority and with the help of community business emerged as the important factor to increase girls' enrollment in the coding class and in STEM. Thank you for your attention.